What I'm gonna talk about today or tonight, it's almost midnight. I've done a ritual, and uh, it's a defense ritual for Russia and for Russian people of Russian DNA. So we want to know, when is America going to be 100% lawless? From this ritual, we've summoned two demons to help us in this ritual. So, what states will America be 100% lawless, like the game state of emergency, or even worse? The America gonna be 100% lawless on the 5th of July. July this year. That will coincide with Donald Trump being assassinated. So the demons know my pain already. I don't have to tell them anything, they know everything. I talk to them all the time. One demon is a Siamese twin. Him, my best buddy since 2015. I actually knew him in 2009. I decided to summon the 72 demons with the lesser keys of Solomon, with what's his name, Matthias book. He was a Freemason. I've forgotten his name. Anyway, there's a lot of creaks in my room today. Probably spirits talking to me. Today they closed the door when I was lighting the candles. It was kind of cool. I've never seen Dan Talion face to face, but I used to play with him with a digital camera in 2015. I used to put a sigil of water underneath a bowl of water. I used to put his sigil underneath a bowl of water and take pictures. So there would be pictures forming in the water, which would be recorded on a digital camera, and I would take pictures of him, and he would just be dressed up as different people. So that was kind of cool. There was some entity in my room. I don't know if it was Dan Talion. That's 2015 as well. There was an entity in my room. It was about 6'10" in height. It was about 300 pounds, dressed in some sort of uniform. It might have been a very dark green colour. He had very, very long hair as well. He had the face of some sort of donkey type creature. I had hollow eyes. I was paralyzed in my bed. I couldn't scream. I couldn't move. It looked at me in my face. I don't know if it thought I was pretty, or he wanted to know if I was alive. So he looked at my face very intently. I could barely open my eyes. To me, I didn't know if I was dreaming or if I was actually awake. I did feel that I was dying, my energy was drained, and I felt like something was sucking out my energy. I had to go and crawl to the kitchen and get some sugar because I didn't know what happened. Then later, the doctor told me later on in that year that you have heart failure. And I said, did I have a heart attack? I didn't actually tell the doctor. I saw some sort of supernatural being in my room. You know, she'd probably say, you've been taking something. You've been drinking too much alcohol. Been hallucinating. No, it was in my room like it was real. I mean, she'll probably say, were you dreaming? I said no, because if I was dreaming, I wouldn't go to the kitchen and get some sugar for energy. I mean, who would do that? And normally if you wake up in the middle of the night, you go to the kitchen for a drink, right? Not for sugar, to give you energy. I tell you, if you feel like you're dying, like all your energy has gone out in your body, get some chocolate or some sugar, Pepsi Cola, really sugary drinks, yeah, and take it, or sugared water. That's why they will give their ill glucose water when they're very ill. Anyway, next month is the kickstart of the wrath of my bodyguards, these two demons. So, when would it be 10% chaos in America? It'll be 10% chaos in 1 month. What day? 10% chaos would be when? The date of it. 10% chaos in New York City. Come on. 10% chaos would be the 19th of when? The 19th of June will be 10% chaos in the USA. Ooh. And then, what makes it escalate so fast in the next 2 weeks after the 10%? What makes it escalate? Oh my God. The KKK marches. Are you joking? What's to really tick them off? F foreigners took over the White House. What foreigners? It's called what? It's called what? The Black Panther. The Black Panther haven't been around since the 1960s. So what they call themselves now? The Nation of Islam, is it? It's not the Nation of Islam. So someone decided to revive the Black Panther of the 1960s in America. Like a paramilitary African American vigilante group. I tell you what, it's gonna be really, really Uh, a surprise. I've given the offerings to the demons. A mint ice cream. You know, chocolate mint ice cream. Yeah. That is for Dan. Dan. I'll call him Dan. I don't want to talk about his real name. And then I've given like it's raisins, sunflower seeds, and walnuts to the other one. We'll just call them Anders. And uh, Dan has got like orange gin to drink, and Anders has got like the filtered water, and Anders has a wolf, so his wolf has a little bone there. It's got roasted beef bones. I think that's his favourite because he's done a lot of wonders in the last 3 weeks for me. So you don't necessarily have to give them raw meat, because one is doesn't normally, they don't eat raw meat. This one, the one Anders doesn't eat raw meat naturally. So, and they work well. They like it. They work well. They've never complained about the offerings. Dan Tyler, and well, I said his name, isn't it? So I guess everybody knows him. Maybe he just wants to have the glory. Dan Talion, the Siamese twin. So I don't know what will happen. What he would want more of. Sorry, I'm tired now. But anyway, if these people, these horrible people in the White House are just gone on, I don't know if they're in a cult of some sort. I think they could be in some sort of goddess Kali cult, which is a death cult. And from like the personality she has, this goddess always requires a human sacrifice or a blood sacrifice. She actually prefers humans instead of animals. In India, they do practice human sacrifice. So that is why Goddess Kali is very dangerous to work with, unless you're in the military. Because she always wants greater sacrifices, yeah. To me, Goddess Kali, she's also an ego destroyer. She will destroy people's egos if they take pride in certain things, right? They're doing it out of their ego, to do something out of ego. She will just reduce their ego. The quickest thing to do as a dark magician to reduce someone's ego is to do something to that enemy's close circle, or their family. That's what they normally attack, is their family, their marriages, things like that. That's why if you are feeling attacked by a dark magician, you've done nothing wrong, you're innocent, right? Talking about innocent people here. The spiteful little bitches. Because I don't like spiteful little bitches. I do defense magic to protect myself, my loved ones, my furry friends, you could call them, my pets, my plants. I've had so many plants die in the last 5 years. It's cost me a fortune. I live in a very mouldy place. My home is very mouldy. So what I try to do is I buy lavender plants. So I have that fragrance in the room, and also it kind of absorbs the mold. The lavender plant, it breathes in the mold, so it's almost cleaning the air like the air plants, which is called Spanish moss. It's an air plant. It actually purifies the air, and so does the snake plants. So that it's good to carry in your, it's good to have them in your home. The Spanish moss plant looks a bit strange. It looks like spaghetti, like tagliatelle. So it's weird when you look at it, and when people look at it, they wonder what plant is that. But also Spanish moss is supposed to bring you luck as well. I don't have them anymore. I decided to resolve the mold myself, which is by using PVA glue and wallpaper, which kind of sorted out most of the mold in my kitchen. It was coming back after 3 years, so I sorted that out. I need to sort out my bedroom. I've sorted out most of the living room. So the warning is, do not pick on the innocent for fun, because that person could be a very powerful witch and you're in trouble. They don't have to look a particular way. And don't judge people by the name that they have. Because a lot of people, they change their names. And you change it by default, or you can change it by when you get married, you will change your name. So they really haven't got the faintest clue. Because I don't run the American government, right? Most of my enemies are in the USA. I don't run the American government. I have an associate who is a high ranking senior colonel in the Pentagon. We've been psychic friends. I met him on a psychic line in 2008, a long time ago, when I had my operation, that horrible operation I keep talking about, that really messed me up for life. So the witches told me that you need to join a coven, and I met this guy there. Well, because I was a psychic too, I became a psychic. Used to tarot readers, things like that. And so that's how I met him. Yeah, he said that you keep stealing my clients coming to my profile. And I said, how am I doing that? I said, number one, I'm cheaper. Number two is I don't do that. I actually summon demons. And then he was talking about something about going to the source or something. And I'm like, what the hell does he mean, going to the source? You have to go to the source. So I didn't understand his concept on things. He was also talking about Mein Kampf as well. I think he was in the Aryan Brotherhood or something weird alliance he was in. I remember the entire, that whole, all of them, about 200 on the forum, just giving me the psychic attacks, been really hostile to me because I told them that I had a Jewish heritage. And I said that my psychic skills come from my father's side and their Hebrew ancestors, and this is how I got my gift. I'm not a gypsy, I'm a psychic, a Hebrew psychic witch for generations. And my father's mother was also well, I wouldn't say she was a witch, but maybe she was a witch. She was a Satanist. And I'm named after my father's mother. So all her kind of knowledge comes down to me because she is probably my conscience or my spirit guide. So anyway, I'm still a better psychic than he is after 20 years. So I'm still better than him. I don't know how he gets his psychic insights, but I have pacts with spirits from different religions. I have pacts with mostly European deities. We'll just say that. I'm not telling them. I'm not telling anybody who are they. I'll just say they're from Europe. I haven't gone into the Russian spirits, which I might have to connect with, but I do a little bit of shamanism, which is a part of Russian magic. But I haven't really done that much. So anyway, what to look out for is some bad shit happening in America. Probably I saw the last week of June, and also July. The last week of June, everything like kicks up, and when is the 100% mayhem in America? What day would that be? The 100%. It's going to be what day? It's going to be 8th of what? The 8th of September. The 8th of September, 100% mayhem in the USA. What date do they actually call out the what they called the what are they called? They call them what? And they're some type of soldiers anyway. I don't know what the hell they're called. What do they call them? Oh, the soldiers out. What day? They call them out on the 28th of the 28th of November. They call the National Guard out. On the 28th of November 2026. Who's going to be president then? JD Vance is the president. He's going to talk. He's going to call the National Guard out. JD Vance is going to be the new US president in November 2026. That's what the board says. Okay, the spirits are working on this. What was my last date? I said, I can't remember the date that I had for the spell that I just did today. There was a couple of months that it had to work from. So everything would be accomplished from that spell. It would start to manifest in about 2 or 3 weeks from when the spell was done. That would be the 20, I think I said the 22nd. Or 22nd of June. That's when it starts manifesting. It would be about 14 days since the spell was cast, and it will escalate 10% by July. There will be a national state of emergency crisis by the time November hits. The new president will be JD Vance. Oh, when is his inauguration? JD Vance. JD Vance inauguration will be in July. JD Vance is going to be new president inauguration. July this year. So it's a bit of a historic change, I would say, in America in 2026. If they can like go out all guns blazing, so can I. They usually say never scorn a Scorpio. I'm Aries and Scorpio moon, and most of my birth chart is 60% in Saturn Capricorn and 20% in Mars from my astrological birth chart. And my North Node is Capricorn, which is about being a dictator. My I don't think my South Node is in Aries, which is thinking. Anyway, enjoy the dates, write them in your calendar. If you have anything important to do during those months, be careful of your journey. I would suggest that if you are spiritual. The spirit will lead you what to do. So sometimes you've got to take care of your family the only way you know how, which is through black, demonic magic. And you could say I have 140 million cousins in Russia. You could say that. So we are all family, and we need to look after each other, and we need to support each other, and we all need to help each other. Because the Western world doesn't want that. And America is part of the Western world. Anyway, take care. Bye.